It is the morning sports desk for Tuesday, July 16th. I'm CJ Baumgartner. There is Corey Tackman. And Corey, a lot going on in the sports world. And by a lot, I mean not really. It's All-Star Week. It's kind of that dead portion of the summer, but a lot going on with the All-Star break. The Home Run Derby was last night. And before we get into kind of our thoughts on the Home Run Derby, first, an all-star game note that, of course, like 20 minutes after we stopped recording on Thursday, we got this news, and that's that Willi Castro is an all-star. How we feeling?
Well, we love Willi. We love Willi Castro. There's nothing really else to say about it. First time all-star. Look at him. He looks great in that cowboy hat. Nobody's fit into the state of Texas probably better than Willi Castro.
Willi goes down to Texas. Willi, he just won't go home. He's going to Texas instead.
I love Willi. I'm so glad he made it.
Yeah, he was a guy that typically, and it's kind of just of where baseball is. Because could you think of back when you were growing up, Corey, that a utility man would make an all-star game?
The only example I can think of probably in my life is Ben Zobrist.
Yeah, Ben Zobrist is a good one.
And I don't know if he did or not. I don't remember. That's just not how my brain works. I actually assume he probably did. But, yeah, it's weird to have this guy who exists on this roster basically as a we need somebody to play center field when Byron Buxton gets hurt. We need somebody to play a corner infield spot when Royce Lewis, like he exists on the Twins roster.
Base when Ed Julian takes a dive, like
yeah, it's exactly he's utility. He's not like, hey, we're just gonna have a guy who needs to fill the spot for a day because we're gonna give a guy a day off. He's like expected to be a starter and to have starter abilities. Calling him a utility man is probably a disservice to his actual ability, and he would start for a lot of teams, I guess is my point.
Yeah, there was a quote, and this isn't about Willi Castro, but remember when the Twins signed Marwin Gonzalez in 2019, and Rocco Baldelli said, I wouldn't call him a utility player. It'd be like, I'd call him a multi-positional, blah, blah, blah. He had some kind of long word for it that obviously never stuck. But the point was kind of the same. Like that Marwin Gonzalez role is kind of what Willi Castro is, except he's been much better. Marwin was really good in 2019, but after that was not good for the Twins. But the whole point is that you have this player, and Rocco Baldelli, we talk about Ben Zobrist. Who'd Ben Zobrist play for the majority of his career? Joe Madden. Who's Rocco Baldelli's, who is Rocco Baldelli molded by in his managerial style? Joe Madden. Like it fits with just the player that Willi Castro is. Somebody who, like Marwin Gonzalez, could play an infield spot. He could play the corner outfields. He couldn't play center like Willi Castro is. And Willi Castro obviously has much more range than Marwin did. But it's kind of that spot of like, hey, man, we just need somebody who can bounce around. And you may not ever be officially a starter, but at the end of the season, you're going to log so many innings or so many at-bats, so many games that it really won't matter. You're going to play so much, you're going to feel like a starter. You just don't necessarily have a positional home. And not just the fact that Willi Castro is like, he's not just a nice player. He's been a really good player. I mean,
he's an all-star, man. He's been really good.
He's been really, really good. If you take away the COVID season in 2020, where he had a 349 batting average, albeit in 36 games, in 96 games right now, Willi Castro has a career high in batting average with 265. He is a career high, again, excluding the COVID season. He is a career high in on-base percentage. He's going to have a career high out of the water, really, in slugging percentage at 422. And, of course, he's on track to have a career high in OPS and OPS+. He only has, I say only, 7 home runs through the first half of the season. He tied a career high last year with 9. So Willi Castro started to click last season for the Twins and really kind of came on late. Because remember, when the Twins brought Willi Castro in a year ago, it was a minor league free agent signing on a guy that got cut by the Tigers before he was arbitration eligible. Like the Tigers bailed on that guy. They're like, he's young, cheap, and under team control, and we don't want him. And the Twins basically just scooped him up for literally nothing. Right. And he only made the roster a year ago because Trevor Larnach and Alex Kirilloff got hurt Alex Kirilloff got hurt to begin the season, which allowed Willi Castro to sneak on as the 26th man. And he just took what he was given and kind of built up his perception and built up his worth over the course. I mean, it's just a fascinating story for Willi Castro. He's only 27 years old, and the Twins still have him under team control for like 2 or 3 more years. It's just a masterclass for the Twins to get this guy.
Well, and to your point, you're right. Teams just don't let guys like that go. So for Detroit to do that is like an ultimate sign now, with the benefit of hindsight, of like, that is a franchise that is in a clear, we're completely starting over sort of mode, because you don't let guys like that go ever. There's no reason to, there's no benefit to, and keeping them around doesn't hurt you. Not that it might not necessarily help you, guys like that, but it doesn't hurt you. So, and that's kind of what professional sports is all about. What's the thing that can hurt us the least? And for the sake of the Twins to get an all-star out of the deal, it's really cool. I like the Marwin Gonzalez comparison, by the way, a lot, because I don't remember if we played the game, but there every once in a while we do like who's going to be like a fan favorite when this is all said and done.
Who's the Nas Reed Award?
Yeah, that's right. And Marwin, for a while, like when the Twins signed Marwin, it was like, this guy's just he kind of fits into what Twins fans like. He can do it all. He embodies that, like,
he's great.
Every baseball player, yeah, he's gritty, but every baseball player and every coach that baseball player ever had was like, you want to play, you need to be able to hit, and there's 9 spots. It's a finite number of places you can play. So the more able you are to play any of those positions, the better your chance of playing is. Like, we all grew up learning that about the game of baseball. Marwin Gonzalez was that guy. Willi Castro is clearly that guy, but better.
Right, but much better. He can. The thing about Willi Castro is, and we've kind of hinted at it, but here's my full take about Willi Castro. I think Willi Castro and the player he is and what he's able to do is like just a timeless. We talked about this with Dick Bramer last week. By the way, go listen to that interview on YouTube, on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts, WadenaRadio.com, all that good stuff. But we talked about, who's the twinniest twin, and you kind of meant it more as like a PR thing. But like, I think also in terms of like just which guy you think of, and you're like, historically, what does a Minnesota Twins baseball player looked like? Mm-hmm. It's Willi Castro, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Willi Castro. It's guys like Michael Kadire. And this is a credit to Willi Castro too, because the Twins wanted Michael Kadire to do these sorts of things. And you may remember, Kadire could never figure it out. The potential was always there, but like that super utility guy, it was not ever his. They needed to get him into right field for him to settle in. So for Willi Castro to be that, like, yeah, I'm that utility guy and I'm good at this. There's evidence in Twins history that this is a very difficult thing to execute, and probably all over baseball, not just the Twins. So yeah, you're absolutely right. Guys like, I mean, Twins fans love or hate, depending on who you talk to, Nick Punto, right? He's another one of those. He just kind of fits into that mold of like, I just
free infield position. I'm
going to play really hard. I'm going to do a couple of things unbelievably well. I'm going to do everything else at best okay. And Willi Castro personifies that. He doesn't do anything poorly. He's good at just about everything. And out of that utility spot, man, that's important.
Right. It's huge, because over the course of a season, it's like, all right, Willie, today you're going to play third because Brooks Lee needs the day off, or Correa's getting the day off. Brooks Lee's playing short. You're going to go there. Last year he filled in at shortstop, kind of as the backup. He played some time at second base. He could play the corner outfield spots. He doesn't play a ton of center, but can do it. And all of that positional flexibility, I keep coming back to this thought. Could you imagine Willi Castro? Because remember, the Twins weren't exactly a running team before Willi Castro got there. And him and Michael A. Taylor last year bumped up the Twins' steals just by having a guy that can do that. And Willi is a guy that's not afraid to run the bases. He can bunt. He can do some of that stuff. He plays a lot of different positions. Could you just imagine Willi Castro on like the 2008 Twins? Wouldn't Willi Castro just fit the bill of like the Metrodome era, early 2000s Twins? Wouldn't he just fit like a glove on that team?
Yes.
Like you could see Gardy putting him in like, all right, Denard Span, you're playing center field. You're bleeding off. You're going to get us a single. And then Willi Castro, play second, bat second, Gardy tradition. And you're going to bunt Denard over to second. And then Mauer and Morneau are going to knock him in.
Alexi Casilla.
What?
He's better than Alexi Casilla.
Exactly.
Even though Casilla is one of the most important hits in Twins history.
Even though Casilla was like Captain Clutch. But in the third inning, nah, man, go back to the dugout.
You're right. He totally fits in. I just want to change his number. Really, that's all the only nitpick I have with Willi Castro is I think he wears a stupid number.
You're not a 50 guy, huh?
No, that's for pitchers.
I was gonna say that's a pitcher number. I feel like.
Yeah, but it's also the way baseball is. You know, it's funny. Like you go to the Yankees or something, and all of their numbers have to be weird because they have so many retired all-time greats.
Right.
As these professional sports continue, like you're just gonna have to start wearing weird numbers. Like eventually, Brooks will probably not wear 72 for his entire career, but he's gonna weirdly wear it for longer than it makes sense.
Think about Jose Miranda. He's 64.
Yeah, that's the number they gave him. You know what I mean? He didn't pick that, probably. And then it worked, and he's like, I'm just going to keep wearing it. I like in football that they have defensive linemen wear single-digit numbers. I think that's cool. Get that out of here. Get that. Baseball, those big numbers, 50 and up, pitchers.
Unless it's 99. Because Manny Ramirez wore 99 with the Dodgers.
And Aaron Judge wears it, and that dude is giant. It makes sense for him.
He's 9'9". Like, that's why he has it on there.
9 inches tall. He's 999 pounds. He's a huge man. He hits 990-foot home runs. Yeah.
What's the Futurama joke where Leela wears like a fraction? And they're like, why do you have a fraction? It's like, well, all the numbers are retired. So we can only do fractions now. That's where things are going with that. But yeah, I mean, Willi Castro, because he was a non-roster invitee to spring training, 50 was like, I don't know, man, you're just lucky to be on the roster. Here's 50.
It's probably the lowest number available.
Although he did wear 50 with the Tigers, I think.
Oh, did he?
So maybe 50 is just his number.
Then I need to hear the reason. If there's a reason, I change my mind entirely.
You know, remember when Twins fans whined and moaned for a long time about Akil Baddoo, letting him get to the Tigers?
Yeah.
And but like he's still on the roster, but he's nowhere near like
No, he had a really fun 2 weeks. Cool.
Yeah, and a few of them happen to be against the Twins. So everybody's like, "Oh, we let another one go." And then you take from the Tigers Willi Castro, and he's an all-star.
Yeah.
Meh. The Twins never everybody who's good always leaves the Twins. Like, come on, guys. It doesn't always happen.
How it works. It's my all-time gripe with sports fans.
Mm-hmm.
Is the world of sports exists outside your favorite team.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody goes through these weird. Every fan base has the guy that got away. Every single one. David Ortiz is an all-time Twins example, right?
Right.
He goes to the Red Sox. Lest you forget, the Red Sox had Babe freaking Ruth. It happens to every franchise.
That's a 100-year curse. I don't know if you've heard about it. I mean, they've won a World Series like every 5 years since that. So I don't know if I have sympathy for that curse.
Is Willi going to play tonight? Probably not, right?
I mean, he'll get like a pinch running spot in like the 7th or something. It's not bad. He'll for sure be a defensive replacement. Well, I mean, you got to think of who's managing the American League. It's Bruce Bochy, so it's got to be.
There's how many players are on the roster?
I think it's like a 26 minute. Well, I don't know, actually.
But Willi's like player 33 in this whole.
Yeah, I mean, he made the team because the Twins hit Jose Altuve in the wrist, and he's like, I'm just gonna sit the All-Star week out.
How confusing it was this morning to read about how Willi Castro replaced Astros Jose Altuve. There's just a lot of Hispanic names and Astros and Castros, and I got confused myself like 6 times.
And Carlos Correa is sitting. He was at the home run derby yesterday, and like there for the All-Star game stuff, but he's not going to play in the game because they found out because one, he got hit in the wrist and stuff like that, and then the other one was that they found out last year he had plantar fasciitis in his left foot. Now they found out he's got a minor form of plantar fasciitis in his right foot.
Yep.
So I think he's like, you know what?
It's the only thing you can do.
Right. So I think he's like, I'm just not even going to bother with it. He already got the contract bonus for getting an All-Star game nod. Like
the All-Star game hats are not bad, right?
No, I'd like the hats, the jerseys that they're going to wear tonight. I've seen pictures, look awful.
Oh, the jerseys are bad.
I wish I grabbed a picture of it and I could put it up here for everyone to see. But like we've talked about before with Fanatics, they're iron pressed on, at least since I saw. So they already look like something that your 16U Babe Ruth team is like, we got to get new ones next year.
Ordered them off of Etsy.
Team U. Yeah, not great. But yeah, I've heard the hats look good. I think the overall vibe of the All-Star game looks pretty good. But yeah, I don't know.
Let's move that conversation towards the All-Star game and the home run derby, huh?
Yeah, let's do that. So the home run derby was last night. Corey, new rules, I believe this year is like you have a certain amount of minutes. I believe it was like 3 minutes to get 25 swings or less in. That's kind of the new setup. Before it was like 10 minutes, like there was just a straight clock. And then before that was the out system. I didn't hate yesterday's new system because I think it's trying to go back to the old 10 outs rule, but they're trying to basically prevent it from lingering on forever and trying to keep some sense of like a time on this thing. But overall, I just don't like how I'm old school. I don't like how the new rules are for the home run derby.
Okay.
So here's what I would do to change them.
Okay.
I would go back to the traditional out system.
Yep.
It's 10 outs, and then you're done with a twist. So the thing was, there was no way to kind of keep that within a certain time frame. Well, I don't know if you know this, but over the last couple of years, everybody does this pitch clock thing.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't need to be like it is where it's like 10 seconds. You got to get back in the box, but you can't have like a 25-second pitch clock or a 20-second pitch clock for people to get back in the box in a home run derby and then just do 10 outs. Like, doesn't that feel like it's a nice, moderate kind of move back to old school while also keeping it a little more snappy? Wouldn't that be the play?
Okay, I'll play along with this, but then I have a solution also.
Okay.
I make it 5 outs.
Yeah.
Make it 7 outs. Like do whatever. Go back to the
round 1, 7 outs in round 2, 5 in the championship, or like reverse it.
Yeah, or it's a total number of swings. Like you get 15 swings, which means if you don't like the pitch, you have to let it go. But there's no pressure to swing at everything.
Right, and that's kind of what they have now with the 25.
I don't. So that, yeah, I'll say that to say this. I do not care about the home run derby. I do not care about the All-Star game. I do not care about the NFL Pro Bowl. I do not care about the slam dunk contest. I do not care about the NBA All-Star game. I do not care about the 3-on-3 NHL All-Star weekend and skills challenge. I do not care about the 3-point shootout. I do not care about kickers playing horse or flag football in Orlando. I do not care about this stuff. It's long. It's boring. It's uninteresting. Get me the games that matter.
The idea of it was interesting, and I think we've just progressed past it. At this point, like back 100 years ago, it's like, let's get all of the great players on a team together. And now, like, just the fact of the playoffs and everything and contracts and like everything is so much more outside of the All-Star game where it just feels like everybody's like, we're not putting our full effort into this game.
You want to know what the best thing of all the All-Star weekends is, in my personal opinion? I also did not watch this, so take this with a grain of salt, is the celebrity softball game.
Those are pretty fun.
That's the best, because it's just like, now you're talking about famous people, B-list at best, but famous people or athletes who are important to that city, and they're just going to run around and be kind of silly with each other. That's the best. That's what I'm talking about. No one takes it seriously. Like, even in the NBA All-Star weekend, they do the celebrity game. There's some Justin Bieber type who's like, you need to chill out, dude.
He's the open gym hero in there.
Right. We don't need that. And the celebrity softball game kind of has that pace figured out. Now, I'm also closing in on 40 years old. If I were 12 years old, I want to see the All-Star game. I want to see all my favorite players. I don't know them. I'm old. I don't know if kids these days watch the game in the same way that I did, where you were constantly aware, or if you just had your guys and your team and that's all you care about. I don't know. So I understand I'm probably out of touch with like teenagers, with a 13-year-old baseball fan who's going to want to see Mike Trout play. Who cares what the format is? It's just not for me. None of this stuff is for me anymore.
Yeah. I mean, it's to that point where, and I'm at that point too, where like the whole everybody playing together, like the novelty of it is kind of wore off a little. Because when you're a kid, every single player for every team, because you just have, whether it's baseball cards, whether it's because you play MLB The Show a ton, like you just know every single player. And I feel like I have a good idea of the other players around Major League Baseball, but I'm not like wowed when I see Teoscar Hernandez getting to play beside I don't know, Alec Boehm or something like that. Like, I'm not like, whoa, those guys share an outfield. It'd
right.
be, like as a kid, I'd be like, whoa, Torrey Hunter is sharing an outfield with Ichiro. That's sweet. Like,
right.
That novelty of it isn't quite there.
I would just rather go to a Twins-Dodgers game to see Shohei in person.
Right.
In a game that matters.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I'm probably wrong on that, and it's important to recognize all those players. And it seems like, generally speaking, across all the sports, they like it and appreciate it, and it's fun. I have no doubt that it's not very, very fun.
The best part about the All-Star game is when they have the players mic'd up, because you can actually have a conversation. I hate when they do it in real games, because there's times where like a player makes an error, and like, how do you acknowledge that?
Right.
Because also that in that player's mind, he's mad at the TV crew because they won't leave him alone. He's got to go field that ground ball. Like, they're just like, oh, we'll let you go get this. It's like, yeah, I'm going to get it right now. I just flubbed the baseball, and rightly or wrongly, I'm going to blame the guys chirping in my ear the whole time. Like, and as a broadcaster, you don't go, so did you just have trouble on the transfer? Like, well, how'd you like?
I actually would love that. I agreed with you until up to that very point, because I think I actually would.
Because nobody would say it. What's the problem?
How do we make this happen in our high school games? Can we just start miking up second baseman?
Yeah. So you missed a routine ground ball. Your dad is yelling at you in the stands. How do you feel?
Jimmy, that's like, what happened? Slow, ate you up there, huh, buddy? Yeah. Like, my mom's got to drive me home after the game today because I don't have my driver's license yet.
I mean, how'd you miss that ground ball? It took what? They not rake the field for you before the game or what? That took a weird hop. Were you watching a bird up there? How'd you not see the pop fly? The stuff like that. I think we can make that work. I think if anybody wants to be humiliated on the radio, be our guest.
All right, we need wireless mics and a lot of grace from high school coaches who certainly will not. You know what? Every single kid would be on board with it. There's not a single high school coach who would be like, yes, do this. Talk to our player in the middle of the game.
Right. Maybe we'll just get the coaches mic'd up. Maybe that's it.
You know what? These high school coaches, you got to lighten up a little bit.
Couldn't you imagine like going to like if I go do a Wadena Deer Creek Wolverine football game, just give Coach Peter Meyer, give him a little mic and like stick it on in mid game. It's like, so coach, your team didn't get that fourth down. Tell me, how are you feeling?
Beep, 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 beep,
That's how I'm feeling. Like, what do you mean? How am I feeling?
A state tournament game at Target Field, state championship game. I got Coach Denny mic'd up.
Your team, yeah. Like what do you?
You know what? I changed my mind completely. We need to be doing this. That sounds amazing.
Coaches, sign up for it. Come on, let's go. Could you just imagine like a Fargo Dome game? A team gets there. It's the first time they've been there in forever, and they just get the doors beaten off of them. And it's like, well, coach, how are you feeling? Your team is losing. You know, what went wrong at halftime? You're down 30-6.
Yeah. There are some coaches I wish that would have been a possibility for. Like Howie Kangas would have been hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
Janelle Bright, hilarious. Any of the Finks, hilarious. Mr. Misagatis over in Henning, hilarious. There are some coaches I have in mind who would be like, this is going to get us both fired.
It's that you're going to get that Nick Saban moment where like, I'm not gonna, so quit asking.
Mr. Malin over at Verndale at halftime, teams down 2 scores. Whoa, would that be fun?
Right. Oh, man, they would like the idea of it, I think. And then once it's put into practice, it's like, this was a horrible idea.
Oh, it'd be so funny.
We could pull it off, though.
I want to do it.
All right, one last thing before we do some trivia and wrap this thing up. So, Corey, there is a minor league team. It's a minor league affiliate of the Cleveland Guardians, the Lake County Captains.
Okay, cool name.
You ever heard of them?
No.
I think they're like right off Lake Erie, whatever. It doesn't matter. What does matter is they have a great new minor league baseball promotion in what they call the Roto-Rooter Toilet Roll.
Roto-Rooter Toilet Roll. I love it.
I mean, who wouldn't want to? Everybody says kids these days just sit on the toilet and sit on their phones. Well, how about you do that while also at a baseball game?
Are they? I mean, they're not functional, right? You have to ask the obvious question first.
I mean, there's only one way to find out, isn't there?
You don't get tickets for that row and then also have to drop trout, do you? Or do you have to use the trough like a normal person?
Only one way to find out, Corey. Only one way to find out.
I mean, how are we going to know if the Roto-Rooter actually works?
See? Without
a station hot dog in your or a stadium hot dog in your system, you know what I mean?
Well, and also again, it's to promote the, Roto-Rooter. I mean, how are you going to promote them if you don't know if the toilets work? They look nice, but it's just display. You got to make sure that they're functional. It's
pretty gross to be eating on a toilet.
Yeah, definitely. Probably also pretty gross to the people 3 rows up and down.
Yeah.
Do you got to be careful? Because everybody complains about the splashback. Like if you're somebody sitting next to them.
It's not ideal, right? None of this is ideal.
No, it's like, come on, man. What are you doing?
Do you want to give me your best version of take me out to the ball game while sitting on a toilet, CJ?
Which end do you want it out of?
Take.
I wonder how much these sell for.
You got a Roto-Rooter for the home team?
The 8 seats are right behind home plate and come with service from a bathroom attendant who will supply you with mouthwash, combs, and gum during the game.
Is there a bidet on those?
The team says the seats are not functioning toilets.
Boo.
Super comfortable and elegantly designed. Each home game, also features a challenge to see who can hit a target with a plunger.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
Yeah. This is minor league baseball at its finest.
Nobody does this kind of stuff better than minor league baseball, independent league baseball.
One of the things I learned, I took a sports finance class in college, and the biggest thing I learned, one of the most functioning and like per capita, like one of the best run sports leagues in the world, minor league baseball.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at, because obviously it's on a smaller scale than Major League Baseball, but per capita, they bring in families, they bring in money, because there is minor league baseball there, but they embrace kind of the sideshow part of paying Dave Coulier to show up and do Full House night or something.
Really great clue to Major League Baseball that most of the people who are into watching a baseball game aren't there for the baseball.
Well, and also it's in areas like Omaha, it's in Wichita, it's in some of these areas where you're not going to be like, it's like a 6-hour drive to get to go see Major League Baseball. But your own backyard is a guy who's going to be playing Major League Baseball in 2 years, and you get to say you saw him before he was a big name.
It's Carlos Correa getting warmed up after his plantar fasciitis and just getting some swings in to get ready to go. Like, it's pretty cool. You get to see some pretty big names.
Mm-hmm. You get to see him cycle through. It's families that they're like, obviously you're getting families to go to the ballpark. They build kind of these entertainment areas around them, like communities and stuff like that do a really good job kind of building these little districts around the ballparks. It's just set up. It's small. It doesn't, like if you brought your kid to the Target Center, Corey, like, isn't there a sense where like when the stadium's packed and it's big and isn't just a little overwhelming when you're with like a little bit, where minor league baseball is such a smaller scale. It's like you just a nice little afternoon to go watch a ball game.
Yeah, it's just no, it's the best, man. And this is a hilarious idea. Those seats do not look that comfortable.
No, they do not.
I think I'd rather have the blue seats right behind them, probably.
It looks like they have the padding on those early 2000s. You remember like everybody wanted to buy the padded toilet seats? It looks like it's one of those. Yeah. Like the ones where it's like, be careful. If you try too hard, you're going to slide the thing off of the toilet seat and you're going to fall in.
This is also hilarious because there's no way somebody doesn't do something super gross.
You ever heard the Donald Glover stand-up bit where he talks about him and his brother and his adopted brother going to the Home Depot?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what that story is going to happen. Where somebody uses
Roto-Rooter's going to have to do some splaining.
All right, one last thing, and then we'll wrap up the sports desk today. Let's do some trivia, Corey.
All right, this is from Timeout Trivia on TikTok. CJ, I do not know the answer to this. We'll work through it together. There are 3 clues.
Okay.
Our first clue. I was an infielder in Major League Baseball for 16 seasons, and I played for the Cardinals, Phillies, Tigers, and Marlins.
Okay.
Any guesses there? I don't have any.
I have a couple names that come to mind, but I don't think they're correct.
Throw them out there. Let's see.
Is it like Shane Victorino?
Okay. Great.
Is that it?
I don't know. I was a 2-time All-Star. Shane Victorino, I think, was an outfielder, though.
Yeah.
Primarily. And we're looking for an infielder. I was a 2-time All-Star, once for the Tigers in 2007, and once for the Phillies in 2011.
Oh.
So this should be kind of in your sweet spot than some of the trivia we've had in the past.
Right. It's got to. Oh man, once you say the name, I'm going to be really mad at myself.
I won 3 Gold Gloves in my career and was also MVP of the 2006 ALCS.
Oh, man.
I finally have a guess.
Okay.
I finally have a guess. Do you have any more guesses?
My mind just keeps sitting on Shane Victorino, and I know that's not right.
So I had one weird one that I'm pretty sure is not correct. And Scott Rowland.
Oh, yeah, that's not a bad one.
But I think I'm going to go with Brandon Inge.
Oh, it's Brandon Inge, isn't it?
Let's find out. Who am I? The correct answer is Placido Polanco.
Darn it. I've heard of that guy.
Remember that name?
Yeah.
I love this trivia channel because every single one of them is names that I remember, but had forgotten until I see it.
You memory hold them forever. It's like the biggest thing. I always remember a lot of players from this era because that's like the first era where I really started to like learn players' names from around the league and started to pay attention to baseball generally. But the other reason I also remember a lot of these names like Placido Polanco is because we had Major League Baseball 2K8, the baseball game, like the video game with Jose Reyes as a Met on the cover. and it was for the Nintendo Wii, which is not meant to play like a sports video game because the graphics are bad and the gameplay is never the same. It was not great, but it was fun. It was like a little fun. It's a fun little time if you're not actually looking for realism, if you're just looking for like a good little time with Nintendo 64 era graphics. But like, I mean, we would do fantasy drafts. We'd pick a team, you know, and we just do a fantasy draft with the whole league. And you just like you pick like 3 players, you know, and then you just auto draft the rest of it. And you'd end up with like JD Drew on your team or something like that. We'd always pick Adrian Beltre, like all this kind of stuff. Like it's stuff like that. And that's where I remember Placido Polanco from.
Placido Polanco. He was a problem.
He was a problem as revealed by the fact that the MVP of the 06 ALCS. What an awful postseason that was. What an awful postseason that was. Not only did the Twins lay an absolute egg, but if you look at any...
Never.
I'm going to end on this. If you look at any of the early 2000s Twins runs...
Shall we?
No team in that era of the Maurer and Morneau era Twins, the Gardy Twins, no Gardy Twins team had a better... I know they went to the ALCS in 02. No team had a better chance of winning the World Series than the 06 Twins. And man, did they just fall flat on their face.
Well, they had, batting champs, MVPs, Cy Youngs. Yep.
I mean, they had Torrey Hunter,
yep,
Maurer, Justin Morneau,
yep,
Johan Santana. I know Francisco Liriano got hurt, but you had Joe Nathan. There was no reason that team needed to get bounced by Oakland. And embarrassingly, I might add.
Yeah, I want to say one thing to you. Shut up.
Because if you look at the World Series, it was like the 89 win Cardinals versus like the 91 win Tigers.
It's why I love baseball. It's why Major League Baseball is sometimes stupid.
The playoffs are so because look at the Dodgers last year. They had 100+ wins and they got bounced embarrassingly by the Diamondbacks because all their pitching got hurt.
It's the hot goalie thing in the NHL. Like, cool, you guys got a hot. You played your best baseball for 5 weeks at the end of the year. Congratulations! Now you're the World Series champ. You stunk. You, despite winning the World Series, there's still 5 teams who have more wins than you at the end of the year.
Right. It's the Daniel Tosh bit where he's making fun of the New York Giants. It's like, thanks, New York Giants, for winning the Super Bowl. Thanks for letting us know that a team that lost to the Redskins twice is the best team in the world. Like it's obviously stuff like, congratulations, Arizona Diamondbacks. You were the best team in the senior circuit, despite winning 89 games and finishing 3rd in your division.
Yep.
Yeah, like that. What makes it fun. But it's not fair. I mean, we could go back to the old system where the 2 best teams in each league made the playoffs, but where's the fun in that?
Listen, it's fine because I just want it to happen to my favorite team for once.
For once.
And for one time, my favorite team be like, oh, we snuck in by the skin of our teeth. We're the greatest in the world. I just want that to happen once. That'd be cool.
That'd be cool. The 02 Twins were close.
Mm-hmm.
After game 1 of the ALCS, it was all downhill from there.
Stupid rally monkey.
Stupid rally monkey. Stupid Mike Scioscia. What are you thinking? Joe Madden. Come on.
Garrett Anderson. David Eckstein.
Rookie K-Rod.
Troy Percival. Screw you, buddy.
Yeah, forget you. You guys took a World Series away from Barry Bonds and Jeff Kent.
The older Weaver brother. All those pitchers with goofy ass glasses.
The ones with like tape in the middle. What were we doing?
The big glasses and those really thick rope necklaces that baseball players wore during that era.
Another classic. The Angels were just a wild card team that snuck in and just got hot that year because it was Oakland. It was the Moneyball A's. The Twins knocked them out.
Troy Gloss. Screw you.
Yeah, get out of here. Get out of here. Go on, get.
Darren Erstad was cool.
Yeah, there were a few guys that were already.
All right, there you go.
We got to get out of here. It's been the Morning Sports Desk for Tuesday, July 16th.